to make. So we'll see. I've got my fingers crossed. If we can maintain that, we will be delighted. But it was quite an interesting campaign and would encourage you to think about it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor Terry, and over to Councillor Harding, and then over to Councillor Temperton after that.
Congratulations, Reading, and also great for us to be able to learn. And I know we're taking a slightly different approach and we're all starting from different baselines. So yeah, it's great to be able to share this experience. I just wanted to comment on the section around the enhanced public information and very much welcome that. I think the more that we, at the end of the day, we do need to push behaviour change, and the more information we can share with people, the better we can target, but also I'm hoping we can start to encourage some healthy competition as well that could improve our contamination stats, or people putting things in the right bin. So.
Thank you, and then game on that. Even though over to you, Councillor Temperton.
Really like the idea of stop on the bins. I think food is one of the contaminants of our green bins, I think. And it would be interesting to know how it worked in flats and things like that, because that's one of the worst ones, I think, where they just, well, I opened the door of a lot of flats yesterday and it's a disaster. So anything that can help in those areas, obviously, is good, but well done.
Great, thank you very much. I'm eyeballing the room. I think it's over back to you, Monica, for any comments that you wish to make.
Thank you, Chair. Just referring to the reuse program, absolutely. I think it has been proven that that sort of events work. So contractor is at the moment looking at scheduling plan for this year. We're also looking at the different options, how we can expand on that and build on the reuse offering that we're having at the recycling centre. So that will be presented as soon as we have a little bit more information on that. In terms of the feedback on the sticker and that it's been read and stopped, absolutely, we did expected mixed feedback on that. That has been noted in a different part of the country that used similar interventions. However, on every single occasion when that was debated, the conclusion was it was worth it. It's better to make an impact, better to deal with a little bit of negativity, but it gives it noticed. And that's the reason they all went the similar route, high visibility, a little bit controversial on some occasions, but the results were there, so they wouldn't change it. Hence, we decided to go in a similar route as well. It was a note that is a friendly reminder. We know that people do not read everything what's on the sticker, but hopefully the results speaks for themselves, that it was worth it, exactly. Yes, onto the comment onto flats, absolutely, we appreciate that it was just easier to deliver that first phase of the campaign to individual properties. We are now analyzing the best way how we can tackle people that lives in flats and communal bins. Very likely we're going to go on a similar route, placing a larger stickers on the communal bins and then testing what else we can do to support that communication. So we'll go with the smaller steps. We cannot probably do a borough-wide straight away, but certainly gradually we would like to make sure that flats are definitely included as well and exposed to that campaign. I welcome the feedback about the data. I do agree that it will be really good. Data team is just now been back on it. They've been a little bit swing with the different projects. So hopefully, as they promised February, March, we will be able to see the first sketch of the dashboard. So very good. And we hopefully that will create that healthy competition that you mentioned. Thank you.
Super, great. Thank you very much. Our members all fine, satisfied. We can note the contents of that report. Very good. We will then move on to item 7, which I believe we go back to Monica. So very good. Take it away. Strategy report.
Thank you, Chair. So now on to the strategy report. that report mainly focusing on the evaluation of the results from the consultation. As remember, in September 2025, we presented a final draft of the strategy that included a public consultation program, which has now been delivered. We ran the joint consultation over the period of 6 weeks, starting beginning of November to mid-December. We're very pleased with the response. In total, we received over 3,460 responses across 3 boroughs. So brilliant engagement with an extremely high participation rate, especially in Wokingham. That was followed by Bracknell and Reading, but it showed a great engagement from people who are genuinely interested in that subject. So in the report, I tried to summarize as best as I could the outcomes, but in Appendix 1, you will see the more detailed results. Just to put a bit of the high level of the summary, based on what people told us, we definitely seeing that residents across the 3 councils are very strongly committed to recycling. They are definitely looking for services that are simple, convenient, consistent, with a call for a clearer guidance and keep a repeating theme of the less sorting, fewer containers has been prevailed through the responses. We did ask about the barriers to recycling. Majority of the people did not say that they have any barriers, but if they do, it was mainly related to confusion of what goes in the big bins, limited space in the small homes or flats, or they bins being filled too quickly. We sought the interest into expanded curbside collection of the items that are obviously not written in legislation yet, and batteries and small electricals were chosen as the one that they would like to see first. However, as we can all appreciate from open-ended question, the most common request was about glass and soft plastics, but as you all are aware, we knew that this is already in a pipeline. In terms of recycling center, majority of the respondents are great users and frequent users of our sites. So it was really great to see that they did confirm how important that play in their daily activities, and they generally expressed a positive experience when they're using recycling center. They enjoy and using quite heavily reuse, and they would like to see more of this happening at the site. The point about looking at the improvement of efficiency and savings and proposals we put forward received a mixed response. Majority of the single response were saying that they were opposing to any operation changes. However, quite a significant number were up for changes in terms of the opening hours or back splitting. So the detailed results are, you'll be able to see all of the stats in point 6.4. In terms of preference of the closure of the days, there was no issue of no preference over the certain days, and definitely greater acceptance towards later opening times rather than earlier closures. I think, interestingly, people were looking more into incentivize over enforcement. So I think it was genuinely certain things that we probably would expect it to hear, that people are a little bit wary of any restrictions, and they are a bit more keen on seeing a much more accessibility happening going forward. What's happening now next? These results will be floated into our draft strategy. So I will make sure that any point raised will be adjusted into our draft strategy that has been presented. And as a next step, I would present that for the next meeting. So any feedback will be incorporated into the final draft that will be presented to the Council for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica, and I'd like to thank members and officers who really kind of went all out, and we all came together to assist and possibly bother even a little bit the shaping of the strategy, which became quite the group effort. But thanks to everyone for that. I think we had a better consultation as a result. And thank you also for the feedback on the results of that survey. And at that, I will turn it over to members for comments and also then to officers. So please. Councillor Terry.
Thank you, Chair. I suppose the thing that really struck me is this persistent and quite intractable problem of people who don't drive, and the conflict for us about the fact that in many other ways we're looking to encourage people to consider other modes of transport, but in fact the only way they can get to the recycling centres is by car, And whilst it may be within the means or the ability of some people to organise some other support from family or other people when they need those, perhaps less occasion, on the few occasions they need to use the recycling centres to get there. It does feel like that this is a consistent message whenever we ask about it. And I think in fairness to all of us, I don't know specifically in other areas, but we've tried other things, like the bulky waste collections or looking at other options. They don't really seem to get to the heart of this problem. So I'm not being helpful in that I don't have the answer, but I do think it would be remiss of us to not acknowledge that this continues to be a persistent underlying problem for people who do not have access to their own vehicle. We know they can plan, we know there are other things they can do, but I guess when we ask them, no doubt, it's understandable that they feel a little bit aggrieved that they have to do all of that when other people can just jump in their car. So I just would like officers just to take it away, just to keep thinking about it, about whether there are other things. So one answer is clearly for us to increase our curbside collections, and we all are going to do some more of those things in line with the requirements, but not yet. But they're not really still answering those problems. Now, I've forgotten the name of the organisation, but the collection of other things seems to be a good answer to that. And I know I've used it, actually I didn't. It got to my husband, who got something through on email or something, and went, oh, we've got some stuff, and just organised it, which was very good for me, because usually it's the other people in the house who organise those things. So, I was pleased, I was delighted when he said that they're doing that. So maybe there's something about whether, encouraging people to know better about the other ways in which they can get someone to come and pick it up for them.
Thank you, Councillor Terry. Just speaking as a Reading colleague there, and the survey does kind of bear out also to Councillor Alder's earlier question about how people that do not have cars can rent, man with a van, and how we're tracking man with a van when we get there. I mean, all of these things are related. Anglo Recycling is also related to those issues, but yes, it's definitely something I know in Reading to consider, but I look to other colleagues from other councils for any comments in regards to this report, because some of the findings were interesting. So I got Councillor Harding just before Councillor Temperton. Go ahead.
Thanks. Just touching on the theme of sort of charges and fly tipping, so obviously that's something we've seen operationally as well as in this sort of forward-looking strategy. And I think it re-emphasises the need for us to, as Sarah indicated earlier, keep tracking that data, because it does make sense, right? Any friction in correctly disposing of items could make sense that it increases fly tipping, but I noted the the studies from RAP and so on suggest that is not the case, and I think we just need to be really clear in tracking it, reassuring residents that we're not ignoring that might happen, but also sharing the data and saying whether or not it is for our area. And obviously there are other trends that impact the occurrence of fly tipping and so on as well.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. And over to you, Councillor Temperton.
Yeah, I mean, people don't like change, or really, but I was the 12.1% of respondents willing to support the bag splitting proposals. That to me would be a really good thing to make sure that we can sort it at the centres of what goes to waste and what goes to the right place. But I wonder, there's other areas have already done this, and I think we would have to look at how they manage it, because I think that might well lead to a lot of aggression and everything else if we did that. So I'd really be interested how we would actually support the workers on the site if they started asking people to split the bags and do that. I think it's something that we should encourage, but we need to know how to do it effectively and calmly and be a positive thing rather than lead to any problems.
Part of business as usual, I guess is what you're saying. Calm. Are there any other questions from members or any other comments they wish to make this time on this? No. Okay. Look to officers. They all appear to be silent on this issue, but Monica, back to you for any comments that you'd like to add.
Thank you. In terms of access, certainly that's the issue. Obviously, if you do not have a car, majority of the residents, this is how they perceive to be able to access recycling center. But I'm sure, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have the absolutely open way to other ways for people to be able to access, whether it is to ask the family member, whether it is to come to us on a bike or on a foot. But perhaps that sort of items are not being promoted enough, and it's probably, I can see maybe it's not the ideal situation, but certainly I think we might be a little bit more stronger with promoting that help each other message. So I will add that to the list of the communication going forward. When it comes to the bag splitting, absolutely, I think Sarah probably will be the better suited to answer that, but we are keen to put the proposal how bag splitting can be introduced and the different options that happenings elsewhere and the outcome it receives. So I believe that that's planned for the next meeting. Yeah, okay, I can see Sarah shaking positively head.
Yes, so yes, if that's something we would like to implement, then yes, we will definitely put together a proposal setting out how we would see it working and what evidence there is from elsewhere. Yes, we don't have all those details yet, but it's certainly something we could work on.
Right. I would agree with that, absolutely, for future conversation. So there being no other questions or comments, can I ask members to note the contents of that report, our strategy report then? Very good, great, and I do believe that that does draw us to the conclusion of the public part of the meeting. So if our wonderful services over there could end that after I read item 8 here, which is the exclusion of public and press, that pursuant to Regulation 4 of the local authorities, Regulation 2012, and having regard to public interest, members of the public and press be excluded from the meeting for the considerations of items 9, 10, and 11, which involves the likely disclosure of exempt information under the categories of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972, which is information relating to financial or business affairs, and that no representations have been received in response to the notice under Regulation 5 of the local authorities.